true love. It's just a matter of time.
www.bayhillnews.net is the parent body of Bay Hill News Network. We do Facebook Live for church service, funeral service, lecture, sporting activity. For more, contact at bayhillnewsnetwork@gmail.com or call 1-784-529-8340.
Getting soulful is what we do on Charting in the USA with Soul. I'm Chuck Shorter, and every Sunday at 5 p.m. and again on Monday at 3 p.m., join me as we go back in time to count down the top 30 soul hits in the U.S. right here on Bay Hill News Network. From Aretha to Whitney, Lionel Luther will play the songs that bring back memories. Warming your soul with music is what we do every Sunday at 5 p.m. and again on Monday at 3 p.m. on Charting in the USA with Soul, right here on Bay Hill News Network.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, this is Faye T.
And this is Claremont.
Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
right here on Bay Hill News Network for the Praise Life Morning Show.
Welcome.
Join your host, Ross Bishai, for Stepping into the Light at Bay Hill Online Radio and Concardi Radio. Ross Bishai steps into the light of food and agriculture, culture and liberty. Stepping into the light lifts the level of your self-consciousness, activates your collective security genetic code, raises your earthly vibration. To win in this Armageddon, you must listen to Stepping into the Light with host Ross Bishai.
Kick the dust off your boots and join me every Saturday at 7 p.m. and Wednesday at 5 p.m. as we go charting in the USA country style right here on Bay Hill News Network. We'll count down the top 30 country hits of the week and bring back the memories that make you say,
"Oh, yes, I remember."
So rustle up your herd and stop by every Saturday evening at 7 p.m. and again on Wednesday at 5 p.m. for Charting in the USA country style right here on Bay Hill News Network.
www.bayhillnews.net is the parent body of Bay Hill News Network. We do Facebook Live for church service, funeral service, lecture, sporting activity. For more, contact at bayhillnewsnetwork@gmail.com or call 1-784-529-8340.
You can now order your roti skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. More products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
Hi friends, what's happening in your corner? Beta group meeting, a sporting activity, a community activity, some upcoming event. Whatever's happening in your corner, let us know. We'll share it on Concardi Radio. So email us at concardi.radio@gmail.com. That's CANCARDI.radio@gmail.com. We are in your corner.
Boost your brand's visibility with Branding by Weeks. At Branding by Weeks, we are passionate about helping brands gain exposure and make a significant impact. Let us elevate your brand's visibility and reach new heights. Connect with us today by email at spweeks@hotmail.com or message us on WhatsApp 613-866-8939.
Get ready for an enchanting evening at the SVG Association of Ottawa's Black Carpet Masquerade Gala. Join us as we celebrate the 45th anniversary of the association and the 45th anniversary of independence of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mark your calendars for Saturday, November the 2nd, 2024, 6 p.m. in Ottawa, and prepare yourself for an inspiring night filled with awards, remarks, and live entertainment. This event supports the Scholarship Fund and the Burial Relief Campaign, so your presence will make a difference. Don't miss this opportunity to shine and sparkle with us. Don't forget, Saturday the 2nd of November 2024. Prepare yourself for an unforgettable evening.
It's the Vin Abbott Show with news, views, and interviews. The music in the mix on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Kankadi Radio.
This Sunday, it's the opening of the Vitamin Sign-In Netball Tournament. It all goes down at the Sign-In Hard Court from 4:30 p.m. Admission only $5. And you know we got enough Highwood Basin special. Be entertained by the Sign-In Euphorian Juniors with music by DJ Kano and The Fugitive. So this Sunday, all roads lead to the Vitamin Sign-In Netball Competition. Get ready. Powered by Vitamin. Vitalize naturally.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated as we welcome you to the 2024 SVG Community College Football Feast. Yes! It's that time again for non-stop football action at the SVG Community College. Ball starts rolling on September 27th and 28th with the 6-a-side Football Knockout Challenge.
Aim for the top, put on them neck, we setting records. Aim for them head, if them no real, no left the metal. Yeah. Jump on the G650, feeling tipsy, still I run the marathon.
The SVG Community College Selection Series is up next, October 1st to 4th, as we find out who will represent the college divisional teams this year. Then, the highly anticipated, action-packed, prestigious SVG Community College Invitational Football Championship will take center stage from October 9th to November 15th, before culminating with a 3-day Union Island tour, January 3rd to 5th, 2025.
How much time, me I figure shame on no. I just stop at the top, show on the beer every style. I don't know where I'm fighting, capable. Like, we had the flame on the go tell it begin. And every time on the dawn, no man left for no amaze. Every style, I'm gonna bring on no a copy and PS.
Don't be stabbed. Let's fill your football appetite with the 2024 SVG Community College Football Feast. Powered by the National Lotteries Authority, Unique Touch Soccer, Paris 43 cents, RW Sporting World, and the French Veranda.
The Hill News Network presents Inside Health, a 30-minute program in which we explore the human body and functions. We'll share real-life stories and the latest in medical science as we look at related diseases, conditions, and determinants of health that affect quality of life. So join me, Vin Abbott, on Wednesday evenings from 8:30 for Inside Health on Bay Hill News Net, also on KankadiRadio.info.
Evening to you. Welcome to this week's edition of Inside Health. Trust all is well with you and your family wherever you are listening to us this evening. Pardon me. As you can tell in my voice, I have some challenges there. It's slightly irritated throat it is, but I'll try and get through the program this evening. Once again, hello, hi to everyone, wherever you are. We're happy to have you for company. Inside Health is a radio magazine program. It's a health education program, and it comes to you every Wednesday evening from around 8:30. It is carried on Bay Hill News Network and KankadiRadio.info simultaneously. Inside Health takes a look at the human body, the different parts, functions, diseases, and conditions that affect functioning and performance. It is a solution-focused program with emphasis on the determinants of health, all those factors with which we were born, we grow, live, and age. I am Vin Abbott, your host in the studio of Kankadi Radio, Toronto, Canada, with Monty Kippett, our chief engineer producer, in the studio of Bay Hill News Network on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Once again, happy to have you for company. This week, violence is increasingly being seen as a public health concern in the islands. Yes, we previously talked and talked about what was happening there on St. Kitts and Nevis. And we did hear from the Prime Minister of St. Kitts, Dr. Drew. And then we also heard from the opposition senator, one of the opposition senators in Jamaica. And now the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, Gladstone Brown, is taking action from a public health standpoint. Thanks to this morning's edition on Caribbean News Network for highlighting the actions taken in Antigua and Barbuda. Monty?
At 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., curfew is among the measures in new legislation passed in the Antigua and Barbuda Parliament to protect the country's youth and reduce their involvement in criminal activities. The measures also prohibit children from loitering in public between 6 a.m. and 10 p.m. without a valid reason. The bill was one of 7 presented to Parliament over the past 2 weeks as the government moves to curb a recent spike in criminal activities, some of which involved youth gangs. Prime Minister Gaston Brown.
So this particular bill is extremely important from the standpoint of reducing the amount of loitering that is taking place among our youth during the day and nighttime hours, especially the nighttime hours. And let us not forget, too, that we have a growing situation in which adult men are literally picking up our underage girls. So again, very significant in terms of protecting our young females and at the same time our males, many of whom had become part of these gang networks and literally committing crimes, especially during the nights.
The Prime Minister noted the importance of promoting discipline in the society, especially among the region's increasingly delinquent youth population.
Youth delinquency is on the rise throughout the Caribbean region, and many of the acts of crime and violence that are committed within the region are committed by our youth. As a consequence, we now have a situation in which crime and violence is a public health epidemic within the Caribbean region.
That was Prime Minister Gaston Brown of Antigua Barbuda, as was heard on today's morning edition on Caribbean News Desk. Now, in keeping with the theme of treating violence, of seeing violence as a public health or population health problem, in last week's program, we reviewed the definition of epidemiology, and we looked at the definition as found in Epidemiology in Medicine by Charles H. Elkins, MD, and Dr. P.H. Julie F. Burning, and it's been edited by Sherry L. Marant. Let's review that definition and some more as regards epidemiology, as regards seeing public health violence and crime and violence as a public health problem. Now, epidemiology may be viewed as based on 2 fundamental assumptions. First, that human disease does not occur at random. They don't happen by chance like that. And secondly, that true systematic or human disease has causal and preventive factors that can be identified through systematic investigation of different populations or subgroups or individuals within a population in different places or at different times. Okay, and this probably leads to a more useful definition, is the study of the distribution and the determinants of disease components, right? That is disease frequency in human populations. Let me repeat that, because I'm struggling with my voice here. And it's a study of the distribution and determinants of disease frequency in human populations. And these 3 closely interrelated components, distribution, determinants, and frequency, encompass all epidemiologic principles and methods. Now, let's get a wee bit into the history of epidemiology. I think this is important. In one sense, epidemiology is as old as medicine itself. Hippocrates, who is seen as the father of modern medicine, first suggested in the 5th century BC that the development of human disease might be related to the external as well as personal environment of an individual. He goes on to say, whoever wishes to investigate medicine properly should proceed thus. In the first place, to consider the seasons of the year and what effects each of them produces. Then the winds, the hot and cold, especially such as are common to all countries, and then to such as are peculiar to each locality. In the same manner, when one comes into a city to which he is a stranger, he should consider its situation, how it lies as to the winds and the rising of the sun, for its influence is not the same whether it lies to the north or to the south, to the rising or to the setting sun. One should consider most attentively the waters which the inhabitants use, whether they be marshy and soft or hard and running from elevated and rocky situations, and then if saltish and unfit for cooking, underground, whether it be naked and deficient in water, or wooded and well watered, and whether it lies in a hollow, confined situation, or is elevated and cold, and the mode in which the inhabitants live, and what are their pursuits, whether they are fond of drinking and eating to excess, and given to indolence, or are fond of exercise and labor. Friends, the words of the father of medicine, Hippocrates, way back when. From since then, since the 5th century, for more than 2,000 years, such causes of disease were considered, but without any attempt to measure the impact. Then in 1662, a London haberdasher, somebody who deals with cloth and selling things like that for clothing, named John Grant, published the nature and political observations made upon the bills of mortality. In this case, in which he analyzed the weekly reports of birth and deaths in London, and for the first time quantified patterns of disease in the population. He noted an excess of men compared with women for both births and deaths, the high infant mortality rate, and the seasonal variations in mortality alluded to by the father of medicine. Grant also attempted to provide a numerical assessment of the impact of plague on the population of the city and examined characteristics of the years in which such outbreaks occurred. His recognition of the value of routinely collected data in proving information about human illness forms the basis of modern epidemiology. So we fast forward, my friends, to say 1981, when HIV/AIDS was really first recognized through epidemiological studies, so to speak, there in San Francisco in California. There's just by chance a young epidemiologist, and as a matter of fact, he was involved in cancer work, oncology, detected some strange lesions on folks' skin. Therein began the real research around HIV/AIDS in the West, and it was at first detected on persons who were gay and things like that. Obviously, it's a disease of the general population, but it was detected there and then in North America in 1981, after a young doctor was very careful, taking good notes and listening to the patients, and through that simple method gave rise to the finding, so to speak, of HIV/AIDS, the recognition of HIV/AIDS in 1981. I think it was in July. My friends, before I left St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to get back out to North America, I recognized in my neck of the woods in Georgetown, several persons were dying from cancer along that river there in Georgetown. And I've spoken about this before, that several persons in that area, from Caratal up to Chile, up to Spring Village and up, I'm not going to call names this evening, but there were more than, by my reckoning, my check, my data collection, more than 10 persons along that river passed on because of cancer. Was it by chance? I do not know. But I brought it up with my sister, Vin Abbott, who passed away years ago. We grew up by the river there, but I brought it up with her. And really lamented concern that I had then for persons living along that river. An astute person in health research and epidemiology would have jumped on that situation from a public health standpoint to find out what was happening, whether through a retrospective study, looking back, going back and getting data, taking history. What are some of the practices of people over the years, to the last 10 years or the previous 10 years? A perspective, looking forward, following, moving forward and see what's going on there. The same way, I've been talking about crime and violence as a public health problem. There are reasons why so many persons are involved in crime and violence, not only on St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not only in the islands. And of course, many studies are being done around the place and programs are developed as a result. But I'm so happy that the politicians, and this is a sad story, the politicians always have to be the ones in the lead. If the politicians don't take the lead, or they don't take the initiative, or they don't see it as necessary, seems as though nothing will happen. That's why we have health ministries. That's why we have people in epidemiology. That's why we have health planners. That's why we have public health nurses and others, to bring that kind of information to the fore and try and get some studies done to see what's going on. It has taken us a long time to get to the point to see crime and violence as a serious public health problem. Jamaica did it in part. St. Kitts and Nevis, they are on board, full-fledged, steaming ahead. Antigua, you just heard the clips there. They are giving it serious attention. What about us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in St. Lucia, Barbados? What is going on? Yes, I know the leaders of CARICOM Oasis have been talking about it, but we've been staying with the same old approach. I'm happy. I'm really happy that some of our leaders are taking the initiative. It's a serious problem that requires scientific work, that requires, for example, going into the prisons and doing some work with the prisoners there to get some history, to go back with them. What was life like, say, over the last 10 years, the previous 10 years, 2-year incarceration, get some history and see what is going on there, or follow people moving forward. What would happen if you expose them to certain factors and so on. I mean, it's not difficult to do. It's really not difficult to do. You can get a good sample size and do work. The time is now. It's not too late. 51 murders last year, thereabout, on St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That was a hell of a lot for a population of around 100,000 persons. A hell of a lot, my friends. Friends, you're listening to Inside Health with Vin Abbott here in Toronto, Canada, and the host with Monty Kippett, our chief engineer producer there on St. Vincent and the Grenadines at Bay Hill. When we come back, we'll get more into some approaches as advocated by the World Health Organization as regards violence prevention. Stay with us, my friends. Back with you shortly.
Boost your brand's visibility with Branding by Weeks. At Branding by Weeks, we are passionate about helping brands gain exposure and make a significant impact. Let us elevate your brand's visibility and reach new heights. Connect with us today by email at spweeks@hotmail.com or message us on WhatsApp 613-866-8939.
Hi friends, what's happening in your corner? Be it a group meeting, a sporting activity, a community activity, some upcoming event, whatever happening in your corner, let us know. We'll share it on Concardi Radio. So email us at concardi.radio@gmail.com. That's CANCARDI.radio@gmail.com. We are in your corner.
You can now order your roti skins from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at telephone 1784-528-2979 or pick up Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins at Randy's Supermarket. More products are coming soon from Des Tasty Treats and Roti Skins.
It's the Vin Abbott Show with news, views, and interviews. The music in the mix on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Concardi Radio.
This Sunday, it's the opening up the Vitamin Sand-Hill Netball Tournament. It all goes down at the Sand-Hill Hard Court from 4:30 p.m. Admission only $5. And you know we got enough Highwood Beers on special. Be entertained by the Sand-Hill Euphorian Juniors with music by DJ Kano and The Fugitive. So this Sunday, all roads lead to the Vitamart Sand-Hill Netball Competition. Get ready. Powered by Vitamart. Vitalize naturally.
Get ready for an enchanting evening at the SVG Association of Ottawa's Black Carpet Masquerade Gala. Join us as we celebrate the 45th anniversary of the association and the 45th anniversary of independence of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Mark your calendars for Saturday, November the 2nd, 2024, 6 p.m. in Ottawa, and prepare yourself for an inspiring night filled with awards, remarks, and live entertainment. This event supports the Scholarship Fund and the Berry Relief Campaign, so your presence will make a difference. Don't miss this opportunity to shine and sparkle with us. Don't forget, Saturday the 2nd of November 2024. Prepare yourself for an unforgettable evening.
Network presents Inside Health, 30-minute program in which we explore the human body and functions. We'll share real-life stories and the latest in medical science as we look at related diseases, conditions, and determinants of health that affect quality of life. So join me, Vin Abbott, on Wednesday evenings from 8:30 for Inside Health on Bay Hill News Net, also on KankaDiRadio.info.
Welcome back to Inside Health for this week. My name is Vin Abbott, like you just heard. And just before we get into the WHO's approach, objectives, and activities as regards violence prevention, let us be reminded of the definition of health as put out by the World Health Organization. Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of health is one of the fundamental rights of every human being without this distinction of race, religion, political belief, economic or social condition. And Mayo Clinic puts it like this: health is a relative state in which one is able to function well physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually to express the full range of one's unique potentialities within the environment in which one lives. So it's against that background that we are talking about crime and violence as a public health problem. And this whole approach fits nicely into the definition of health. It isn't just about the chronic diseases and things like that. Now, the World Health Organization has a violence prevention unit. And they have an approach and objectives and activities outlined in a document 2022 to 2026. And I'll read for you in part what this document says as regards the approach, the objectives and activities 2022 to 2026 as regards crime and violence. So I read here, within the Department of Social Determinants of Health, let me stop there. The first line, social determinants of health. At the highest level, the highest body when it comes to health in the world, the social determinants of health are recognized as being important to health. All those things with which we were born, with which we grow, we live and age. All those factors, not just the availability of medicine, hospital, clinics and all of that, all those things that impact health, one with the other, like crime and violence. So let's go back. Within the Department of Social Determinants of Health, the Violence Prevention Unit focuses on preventing interpersonal violence in all its forms and in all settings. Child maltreatment, youth violence, intimate partner violence, rape or sexual assault by strangers, abuse of older people, violence in institutional settings such as schools, workplaces, prisons, and nursing homes, with an emphasis on preventing violence against children. The Violence Prevention Unit provides strategic leadership on the topic develops evidence, norms, and standards, including implementation tools. So who are we to main the unit? The Violence Prevention Unit small team based in WHO's headquarters in Geneva works closely with colleagues in other departments and units such as maternal, newborn, child, and adolescent health, and aging, sexual and reproductive health and research, and builds national capacities to address these issues and fosters global advocacy. It does so by engaging a broad range of partners and networks to scale up effective action and track progress in countries. And why focus on violence, they say? Violence is a major public health problem. This is coming from the World Health Organization, not Vin Abbott. Violence is a major public health problem. It affects billions of people's lives each year through death, injury, and the detrimental impacts of neurological or cardiovascular, immune, and other biological systems, the body, the physical body. High-risk behaviors such as unsafe sex, harmful alcohol and drug use, and smoking are more frequent among victims, among whom they contribute to lifelong ill health and premature mortality. Individuals maltreated in childhood are more likely to be involved in interpersonal violence as they grow up and to attempt suicide. Every day, tens of thousands of people come to the attention of medical authorities to receive some form of emergency medical or medical legal or other care because of violence. Violence also places a heavy strain on local and national economies, with some estimates suggesting that the global cost might be as high as 11% of the world's gross domestic product. When factoring in homicide, violent crime, child abuse, intimate partner violence, and sexual violence. Ending or significantly reducing violence is explicitly called for in the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG. SDG Target 5.2, that is, to eliminate all forms of violence against women and girls. Target 16.1 is to significantly reduce all forms of violence and related death rates everywhere. And Target 16.2 is to end abuse, exploitation, trafficking, and all forms of violence against children. Because it is a risk factor for other negative health and social outcomes across the lifespan, preventing violence can also contribute to significantly achieving other SDG targets, including those on health, gender, employment, and urban safety. I'll stay there for today. These are words from the World Health Organization, from the document, World Health Organization Violence Prevention Unit, Approach, Objectives, and Activities 2022 to 2026. You can check it out for yourselves, my friends. It's very important that we really, all of us at all levels, start to see crime and violence and treat it as a population health problem, as a public health problem. Failure to do so at this time will be doing so at our own peril, my friends. So with that, I want to end the program today. I want to share some of my own thoughts on all of this. Friends, the village, the community, the town, the area, the neighborhood in which many of us grew up years ago is not the same today. Values such as love, integrity, respect, being your brother's keeper, looking out for your neighbor, are values that will certainly live on, and we should hold them dear in our everyday, day-to-day interactions. But friends, those practices we engaged in as children, young people, parents, leaders of all sorts, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago, worked well in helping to build our communities, making them safe. Right? Of course, we had problems. But looking back, our communities were safer. Many would tell you that years ago, they were able to go to bed with their windows open or the door open, and the neighbors will come and close the windows if rain fell or things like that. It will be an invitation to serious problems if you were to try that today. Now, today, based on all reports, we're in a different space. Crime and violence is rampant, affecting population health and well-being. What we did as communities not so long ago to help keep crime and violence at bay is seemingly not working today. I want to repeat that. What we did as communities not so long ago to help keep crime and violence at bay is seemingly not working today. One of our suggestions on this program is for us to build on what we learned years ago. Crime prevention. And in some cases, we'll advance. In some cases, even let go of some of those early learnings and re-educate, retool ourselves with knowledge, skills, tools in keeping with the times, based on scientific, applicable, culturally appropriate evidence. This is particularly true, in my mind, for all levels of society, top to bottom. That's my view. And again, based on all the reports, all the evidence at my disposal. We are suggesting on this program for us to embrace where we are today. Are you hearing me? Let us embrace where we are today. I'm talking about the here and now. Letting go of pride. Letting go of ego. Stop defending our turf. Legal versus judiciary. Politicians versus community. And so on and so on. Let us work collaboratively. And very important in the whole discussion here, accepting that crime and violence is a serious public health problem that requires corresponding, serious, well thought out approaches, again, relevant to the situation in the community. Friends, I want to thank you for staying with us this evening. I apologize again for the challenges with my voice and all of that was getting in the way earlier on. But thank goodness I was able to get through it. I hope the levels were fine as well. And Monty, want to thank you for being there. Friends, once again, thank you for being part of the program this evening. We invite you to join us hopefully next Wednesday evening at 8:30. Once my voice is okay, should be cleared by then, I should be fine. And I hope to be with you. Once again, thank you. Have a great evening. On that note, Monty, Mr. Migan, thank you. Thank you very much.
The Hill News Network presents Inside Health, a 30-minute program in which we explore the human body and functions. We'll share real-life stories and the latest in medical science as we look at related diseases, conditions, and determinants of health that affect quality of life. So join me, Vin Abbott, on Wednesday evenings from 8:30 for Inside Health on Bay Hill News Net, also on KankaDiRadio.info.